It's a question that people of all cultures ask, especially in the face of global progress. What happens when new technology is harnessed for evil instead of good? In today's information age, where digital and social media have blurred the lines between virtual and real life, that same question has become truly relevant. Because as humanity and technology develop, people and brands come face to face with unprecedented moral and ethical challenges. Let's take a look at this issue more closely. This is Norman Agatep of the Public Relations Society of the Philippines, and this presentation is titled Ethics in Social Media, a Challenge for Brands Today. Avid movie fans like me would know that Nicole Kidman has been creating buzz recently for her portrayal of Lucille Ball in the movie Being the Ricardos. Well, I was going through my social media timeline this new year and someone had posted a video of Kidman in iconic scenes from Lucille Ball's 1950s sitcom I Love Lucy. Take a look at this excerpt.
Fish! Fish, go deliver your messages. Oh, all right. Why don't you go to Central Park? There's a million statues over there.
Maybe by now you are familiar with deepfake technology, which uses artificial intelligence to create synthetic media where someone appears to be doing or saying what in reality they have not done or said. The clip you just watched is an example of deepfake. I was surprised that people who had seen the same video clip on social media were exclaiming, "That's amazing! Nicole Kidman performed to perfection the classic scenes from I Love Lucy. These videos are no different from the original." Well, maybe they weren't aware of deepfake. But what I was more surprised of was that the person behind the post didn't correct the false impression made. My point is, technology has given us many ways of spreading fakery these days. And while you might argue that the person who had posted the Nicole Kidman clip might not have intended to fool anyone, brands must practice more caution on social media. After all, they have a greater responsibility to their various publics as they engage stakeholders online. Brands must practice ethical use of social media. Otherwise, their own reputations are at stake. So let's take a look at some ethical social media practices for brands today. First off, be truthful. Probably the most basic of all rules, but certainly among the most important. Be honest about the features and capabilities of your products and services. Resist the temptation to make exaggerated claims and false comparisons just to lure in potential customers. Your products must be able to fulfill the promises you declare on social media. Products that fail to meet customer expectations may receive negative reviews, thus affecting your bottom line and ruining your reputation. Number 2, be transparent. In the age of social media, consumers demand that the brands they buy into are transparent. They want to understand how products are made, how materials are sourced, if the environment was harmed in the process, if child labor or unfair labor practices were employed. They want to know what causes you fight for and which political candidates you support. That's because social media has created the ethical consumer. Consumers who are not satisfied only by the flavor of the burgers they eat at your restaurant. They want to ensure that the values of the brands they consume are aligned with their own. brand transparency can attract more consumers and build loyalty among those who share your principles and standards of behavior. Without transparency, consumers may choose to abandon your brand altogether in today's cancel culture. Number 3. Use data conscientiously. All of us on social media have felt it. It seems that brands know a ton about us. They have volumes of information that they can use to market their products to unwitting consumers. That's because the internet has collated for brands data that we have made available to them, perhaps without us realizing it. They can know things like our relationship status, dining habits, political opinions, religious beliefs, hobbies, and shopping history. But consumers are getting wiser these days. Social media has turned us into skeptical consumers. We understand that because brands have become curators of our intimate data, they have a greater obligation to society today. That said, brands should use the data they have conscientiously. So, keep your customer data private. Do not sell lists of email addresses you've obtained. Think twice about directly contacting people without their consent through uninvited and intrusive email. On the same note, do not use the data you have to promote addictive behavior on the internet or to exploit the emotions of consumers. Realize that everything we do on social media, especially with the data entrusted to us, may influence the attitudes and actions of our stakeholders for better or for worse. Lastly, and related to our previous point, practice social responsibility. This involves using social media to enact positive change by helping people and supporting positive causes. When your brand is known to stand up for what is right, you foster trust and loyalty among your stakeholders. Consumers like you and me are attracted to brands that are socially responsible. We are drawn to brands that make the world a better place to live in. So when you can on social media, help save the environment, support charitable institutions, promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, encourage volunteerism. In last year's Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity, one winning PR campaign stole my heart, particularly because it used deepfake technology, a technology that could be used to spread fraud. But instead, it was used to fight for good and to speak on behalf of Mexican journalists who were being killed for speaking the truth. Check out this case video.
En la gran mayoría del país es el crimen organizado el que manda. Y claro que yo tengo miedo.
Han asesinado al escritor y periodista Jesús Javier Valdés Cárdenas.
Quel est le pays du monde le plus dangereux pour les journalistes? Ce n'est ni l'Afghanistan, ni l'Irak, où les violences sont pourtant quotidiennes. C'est le Mexique.
Y han pasado más de 3 años del asesinato del periodista Javier Valdés. Hoy volvió. Vea de qué manera.
Señor presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador, el 15 de mayo de 2017 fui asesinado por órdenes de alguien a quien no le gustó lo que publiqué. Pero aquí estoy, como me ve, hablándole.
No solo son buenos periodistas, son prudentes. Y si ustedes se pasan, pues ya saben, ¿no? Lo que sucede, ¿no?
Yo no tengo miedo, señor presidente, porque no me pueden matar 2 veces.
De verdad, fue una sacudida la campaña el día de hoy. Ha sido de verdad una revolución.
Los periodistas asesinados no se pueden olvidar, tenemos que seguir exigiendo justicia.
Porque esos reporteros siguen hablando.
Aunque quieran callarnos, seguimos hablando.
As we've pointed out at the start of this video, technology may be used for good or not. Social media is certainly the same. In today's age of the ethical and skeptical consumer, brands have to ensure that they use social media for good. That means being truthful, being transparent, using data conscientiously, and being socially responsible online. Doing all these can contribute to fostering positive relations with our various publics and to building a formidable brand reputation in the long run. Thank you, and have a good day ahead.